Hi, and welcome to episode 177 of the Passionate Spinner podcast. I'm not sure if it's 177. I think it is. But yeah, well, I'm Tracy. Hi, thank you for being here. I have quite a bit of things to talk to you about today, and it's all going to be about knitting. It's just so much knitting happening. And I'm very excited about it. So let's start with what I'm wearing. I am wearing a sweater. I have no idea what it's called. I'm gonna leave links to everything I talk about down below. I started doing that a few months ago, I think, and I hope it helps you find patterns and, stuff. So yeah, I made this sweater last winter. Was one of my 2021 sweaters. I absolutely love it. So all of the bubbles on the sweater are hand spun, and the gray is a alpaca yarn from Shoppewolle. So that's my sweater. I'm gonna shove the sleeves up because that's what I do. And let's talk about knitting in the past. So I finished a lot of my hats. I am going to re-release this hat pattern tomorrow. So tomorrow you will see me again wearing the exact same thing, talk about my new pattern. Today I'm going to show you the hats just real quick. So here are the two that I had finished last week, but they are now completely finished and they have pom-poms. Both of these are fold over brim hats. I'm going to pop on that one because that's a bit smaller. You can either have them be like really, really slouchy, but that's not in right now anymore. So you can also just pull them over and fold up the brim for a nice warm double layer around your ears, So that's this hat. I attached a white pom-pom to it because I felt like that was a good color. Now, of course, I just washed my hair and now I look exploded. But yeah, this one was hand spun. I used up almost all of the yarn. I had that much left in the end, but I just couldn't make the hat any longer. It was already getting very long. So that was this yarn here. This hat I already talked about last week. I attached the pom-pom. I think the pom-pom is perfect for the hat. And I used leftovers from Geilsk, Tück, Uld, and Loden by Madil. I just had those leftovers. That one is the Geilsk yarn. That is the Loden yarn. And yeah, it is a fairly large hat. And I used up every last bit of yarn for that one. And then I had showed you the nipple, which is what I called this hat. Because it starts out with a dark brown and goes into this lighter beigey color. And it looked a bit obscene. So I attached a pom-pom to it. And I did not do a fold over brim for this one. I just did a normal beanie. And this is opal sock yarn with silk. This is the fit. I made this to fit my head. So that's that one. I have that much left of the yarn. I had bought a 500-gram hank of this yarn and knit a summer cardigan. And I think I promised last time that I would link it in the description and then I forgot. So maybe today I will think of doing that because I wrote down how I made that summer cardigan in my Ravelry project page. So yeah, that is left over. So that is enough for another hat in a kid size or a pair of fingerless mitts, which is what I want to do to go with this hat maybe and make a set. And then I knit two more samples. I made this one, which is a children's size. And I played around with a rib pattern, which I really love how this looks, but it limits the size range of the hat pattern. And for that one, I used Hobby Metallico. This is a very thin yarn. It has like 265 meters per 50 grams. So I used this double. I used the inside and outside of the ball. And I knit this hat and I had that much left. So you could totally knit an adult-sized hat with one skein of this. And this is just really pretty. And yeah, like I said, I have that much left. And I love how this hat turned out. It has the same color pom-pom than the two-tone hat has. But I really wanted to attach pom-poms to all of them because I just think that a pom-pom on a hat is so playful in a way, you know, and fun. And my last one, I made 5 in total. The last one I did is this one here. And for this one, I'm going to come closer so you can actually see. I knit this holding 3 yarns together. Can you see the halo? So for that one of the yarns I used up completely, all 3 of them. No, these 2 were leftovers. The other one was a full skein. So the first yarn I held was Cascade Yarns Alpaca Lace in this dark green. And this one was a Zauberball, a crazy Zauberball from Stoppelwolle in different shades of blue and turquoise. I'm not sure what the colorway is called because this was a leftover. And the third skein of yarn I used was a silk or kid mohair, silk mohair from Drops in a dark green. And this is what the hat now looks like. I love it. It is another long one with a fold over brim. All of that hat trying on wasn't the best idea, but yeah, this one is super, super warm and snuggly because mohair silk is a very warm yarn. And so is alpaca, even it's just a lace weight, you know, this is a super, super warm hat. And I love how those 3 yarns held together look in the end. And that silver pom-pom, I just felt like that was the perfect mix. So I'm gonna scoot back again. But yeah, this is hat number 5. All of those hats were made using my pattern, Cane, which I will re-release tomorrow. So today it is still almost half price because the pattern is still up, or it's already up, you know, the old version. Because I didn't have to do a lot of updating because there were people who had made it before and didn't find problems with it. So yeah, it will be re-released tomorrow with new formatting, new pictures, longer, better explained. But until then, it's, like I said, almost 50% off. And if you buy it today, you will get the automatic update tomorrow. So, you know, just so you know. Yeah, hat number 5 finished. Very happy with that. So then I had that silk mohair left after I finished that hat. And I had originally put that together with this sock yarn left over. No idea what this is. It didn't have a label. I just don't know. But I can tell you it's a 75-25 because I can feel that. So I held that together with the rest of the silk mohair and I made a hatband. And it is this hatband. This is a hatband pattern from Pom Pom magazine, from this one here. This is issue number 38. It is autumn 2021. And the pattern name I cannot pronounce, so I'm going to have to show you. Where is it? Here it is. So here's the picture of the pattern, and this is the name. And I'm sorry, but I cannot pronounce that. I do not know what that is. That word, I've never seen it. It looks French to me. I do not speak French. If it's not French, but something else, I'm sorry. I just do not know. So yeah, I held these yarns together. Of course, the pattern calls for something completely different. But I'm super happy with how it turned out. And once I bound off, I had 3 centimeters left of the silk mohair, just enough to weave in. So the seaming I did with just this yarn. But I'm not going to put this on now because, oh well, why not? My hair is already ruined from trying on the hats. So here's the hatband. And it is nice and wide to cover the whole ear. And it has this knot. And I like it. I think it turned out super cute. And I love the color, of course, because it's a dark green, which, you know, is very much my aesthetic. So yeah, here it is. Super easy to knit and was done quickly. And I used up that whole 1 skein and I have this much left that will just go back to the leftover bin. So that's it for the finished objects. It's quite a lot, but they were all small and it's been 2 weeks. So Works in progress. I'm gonna show you the thing you know first. I have worked on my sunflower fairy dress, which is not the name of it, but you know, my colors just look sunflowery to me. So these are my colors that I'm using. This yarn is hand dyed by my friend Sandra from Kunterbunte Wolle. And I am knitting this pattern here. It is called Comfort Piece by Bente Geil. It's a dress. It has a different name. It's a Danish name that I cannot pronounce. It's not on my pattern anywhere. And sadly, if you look for a Comfort Piece on Ravelry, you will not be able to find it because it is registered under the Danish name. So I will link it down below so you can find it there. But I've made quite a bit of progress. So this is it. And that's the rest of it. Can you see? I have done a lot of knitting on this one. I am past the point where the pocket is. So the pocket, I am in this next black stripe, basically. I just started the next green. Their black is my green. And yeah, I'm just, like I said, past the point where the pocket will go. And that one is marked with waste yarn. So yeah, I have about half of the body done. So there's lots of knitting still left. But I mean, this fingering weight yarn, and I've come quite far already. I'm super happy with it. And the last two green stripes and the last yellow stripe are a bit darker because I changed color to the second skeins. I have 3 skeins of each colorway, and I decided not to alternate the skeins within the stripes because just I didn't want to wrangle 4 skeins of yarn at all times if I didn't have to, so I didn't. And I think it's going to be super fine in the end, you know. It's going to progressively get a bit darker, which is good. So yeah, I love it. It is a lot of work, but it is so much fun to work on because it's, you know, easy. I don't have to think a whole lot. This is my Zoom meeting and editing project, because when I edit my videos for Patreon, I then have to watch them, you know, to proof watch. And they can be out an hour long sometimes. And then I get an hour of knitting time in. So that's my Comfort Piece dress. And then I have 2 new projects that you have not seen yet. I'm going to start with the smaller one. In this project bag that my friend Sadie made for me, I'm pretty sure, I have my new project, and I just dropped the ball bands, so I need to get them. I am on a quest to use up small quantities of yarn from my stash, or, you know, leftover skeins. And I am using 2 skeins of yarn right now to knit the Sophie scarf by PassioKnit. I'm sure you've seen this because I feel like everyone is knitting one of these right now. And of course, I'm changing things again. The pattern is written for a fingering weight-ish yarn, or I think it's a lace weight cashmere that you hold double. And I'm using a fingering weight yarn held double on a bigger needle. And the yarn I'm using is Lang Zanzibar. I bought 2 skeins of this in my local yarn shop a very long time ago. And I never knew what to do with it because it's a single, first of all, and then it's 65% wool, 21% polyamide, and 14% viscose. So it's not for socks, but it's not enough for anything really. So I am knitting the Sophie scarf out of this yarn, and I'm holding it double, like I said. I have just reached the midway point. I'm sorry. Yeah, like I said, I've just reached the midway point. So this is a pointy scarf. You know, it's a very shallow triangle. And as you can see, here is the midway point, and I'm starting to decrease now. So yeah, that is it. It's going to be double this length, which I think is a way longer than a pattern calls for, because this is supposed to be like a super short scarf that you can just wrap around once and then tie. Or I've seen people use it as a headscarf to wrap around. And yeah, I'm just making this one out of this yarn. I am using 4.5 millimeter needles. That's a US 7. And these are short, straight needles from Diag Crafts. And I love them. So that is this project. And now the last project, which is also a big one. It's held in this tote bag. It is a crinkly bit, I'm sorry. So I started a new sweater for myself because I wanted to. And it is the, let's see, where is a picture? Here it is. It is the Marshland by PassioKnit. Can you see? Yeah, let's bring it closer. So I'm knitting this sweater for myself right now. And I'm also going to knit this sweater for my son because PassioKnit's patterns come in a lot of sizes. Size range for the pattern right now for this one is like newborn through 4XL women's, and then another set of 7 sizes for men that are even bigger. So it goes from an 18.5 inch circumference to a 64-inch circumference. It's a gigantic size range, which is always the case with PassioKnit's patterns. And yeah, I just craved a colorwork project, and this one is perfect because it's worsted weight, which makes this a quick project. And I'm gonna show you my colors. So first of all, the yarn I'm using is Knit Picks City Tweed in the heavy worsted. There is a DK weight version and a heavy worsted weight version. So for the adult sweater, you need 1 main color and 4 contrasts. For the kid version, you need 1 main color and 3 contrasts. And I had 3 contrasts for my version, but I needed 4. So what I'm using, I am using this colorway as my main color. And they do have names, and I do have the tags in here, but I need to find them. So bear with me a second. Okay, I think I have found all of the tags. Snowshoe, that has to be this one. So this is colorway Snowshoe. Then I have this dark brown, and those are attached right now. What's the name of that one? Tabby. So Snowshoe and Tabby. And then I have Romance, which is this red color. This is the tag. And the last color I'm using is Habanero, and it's this rusty orange. And then I didn't have another color. So I went through my leftovers and I found a tweed yarn, because all of this is tweed. So of course I want to stick with the tweed. And I chose this one, which is a fingering weight yarn, but it is a tweed. It is in the yellow. It is perfect in the color. And to make it thick enough, I am holding this double and with a strand of mohair. So yeah, the mohair is a completely different yellow, but holding this double and adding that one gives me the same thickness of the other yarn. And I'm going to show you what it looks like, because I'm at a point where I have all of the colors in already. And now the sun is going away. It's getting really dark. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have all of the colors in right now, and I am loving it. I think that yellow has turned out beautifully. So this is where I am at. And it's gorgeous. So this is knit on a 5mm needle. That's a US 8. I'm using Knit Picks interchangeables. And yeah, I am that far into the pattern. And I'm loving it. It's super nice. It's easy to knit, and because it's so thick, it's going to be quick and also extremely warm. Because the City Tweed, now let's find a tag again. Knit Picks City Tweed is a mix of 55% merino wool, 25% superfine alpaca, and 20% Donegal tweed neps. So it is very warm. And I am making this hopefully 1 or 2 sizes bigger. So I can use, words. Today I struggle with my words. the plan for this is to be more like a jacket, like an outdoorsy sweater, to use in spring and fall, you know, when it's cold but not really cold. That's what I want to do with this one. The problem with the city tweed yarn is that it felts horribly. It is super nice to work with. It is very warm. It's really soft, but it felts like the dickens. And I know that because I already have 3 sweaters knit out of this yarn, which is incredible considering that I cannot buy Knit Picks yarn in Germany. But I have a lot of this city tweed, and I've made 3 sweaters already, like I said, and they felt a lot, but I love them. So yeah, that is mine. For Tim's version, because like I said, I'm gonna make 2 of these, and I have the yarn over there, and that is my knitting in the future. So I'm gonna just get it real quick. You know, I could have thought about this beforehand, but I didn't. So for knitting in the future, I have another Marshland, and this is the colors for that one. So the yarn I'm using for the kid version is Studio Donegal, Soft Donegal, and I only have 2 of the skeins that I need, and I need 3, but I'm gonna make it work. I just probably will do the ribbing in a different color or something. And then I have a dark blue, a light blue, and this green. So this will be the kid version. That is it for the knitting for this week. That was relatively quick. For new stuff, I have nothing, which is good considering last week. The next thing is spinning, and I have no spinning to show. And the next segment would be reading, listening, watching. And I'm going to talk about watching, but I'm going to take out reading and listening, because listening is basically audiobooks, right? And I did a reading wrap-up video for August, and that got a lot of feedback, or not feedback, but a lot of people watched it. So I'm going to take out the book talk of the podcast and do a monthly reading wrap-up instead. I think that's a better idea, to keep those podcasts shorter, because I enjoy the shorter ones, and do the book talk separate. So what was I saying? I'm going to keep watching, but I'm going to get rid of listening and reading for the podcast. So what we have been watching is Peaky Blinders. That's it. And only a few episodes. So there's not a whole lot to report back on. I didn't watch anything else at all. So that's it. And that leaves me with other crafts where I have nothing and everything else where I have something. So this week, Saturday, should be the next weekend. But we decided yesterday that we would be going away next weekend. So I cannot do the weekend next weekend. So I will announce the next weekend in the next podcast episode. And for everything else, I had an idea the other day that I wanted to run by you. And that is how am I going to say that without it sounding weird? So I have anxiety, right? And I've had anxiety for 26 years, which means that I know a lot about how it feels and what the brain does when you have anxiety. So I thought that I could do like short videos separately, put them in a playlist so you can always find them, and talk about how anxiety affects everyday life for someone with anxiety and also the people around them. Because it's something that just we don't talk enough about, mental health in general. And when I finally realized that all of the things that are happening in my head and to my body are actually based in one thing, that blew my mind. And there's not a whole lot of resources that I found helpful, you know? Now, sure, I'm not a medical professional, healthcare professional in any way, shape, or form, but I've had this for 26 years. So I know how it feels. So my thought process was, okay, I'm having an anxiety problem today, and it is rooted in, it is manifesting like this, and my loved ones could help me doing that kind of way, you know? Because I feel like a lot of people who have someone in their life with anxiety just don't know what to do. because you do not know what's going on in that person's brain, and that person might not be able to explain to you what's going on inside their brain. So I thought I could, whenever the occasion arises, do like a 5-minute video and talk about what's going on in my brain, how it got triggered, how I'm able to help myself, and how my husband can help me, because he's the one who has to, live with me. So he's the one who gets to help me out when I need help. So what do you think about that? That was a thought that I had this week. And yeah, I'm not sure if I should be doing that or not, or make that a Patreon exclusive thing, so not the whole internet can watch the things that I talk about, because that is going to be, a very personal thing, because I'm gonna talk about my own experiences. So yeah, I'm not sure. I just had the idea and I have been thinking about it for a few days. I still think it could be very beneficial for people, especially like the non-anxiety sufferer, the spouse, the parent, the friend, the kid to the person who has anxiety. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. And yeah, I think that is it for today. It's a shorter one, which is perfect. It's exactly what I want. And I will talk to you maybe next week. But I feel like this 2-week thing is working out in my favor right now. So we will find out together. You will also get to see me again tomorrow with the introduction video for the hat pattern, and on Wednesday with an introduction video for a very cool Patreon project. And I'm going to wear the same thing because I'm going to film these now. So just so you know. Yeah, and that is it for today. I hope you all have a wonderful time and you enjoy everything you do. Bye.